Hello everyone, welcome back to technically the last topic of operations management, and that is one topic that is left that we are doing now, which is assignment problems. What an assignment problem is, so the chapter that we are going to do is assignment problem. What an assignment problem is, what are we going to do in it, and all of that. Again, I will try and explain, or I will be able to explain it to you better if I have a question in front of me, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab the first question that I see, or the first question that I want to do. Again, assignment problem is something that comes under optimization. So let me do one thing. Let me write down a problem and then we'll discuss. So these are a bunch of questions. I'm going to tell you a few things that you have to assume with every problem. See, assignment problem is a topic which I can't directly go to the institute questions because I can't raise my hand too much. But imagine that this is where assignment problem needs to be taught at, and this is where your institute material is. So I definitely directly can't start the institute material. So I have the topics where I could directly start, I have started. But topics where I couldn't start or I cannot start, I have to do a few extra questions. Assignment problem is one of those. So when we go to actual questions, whatever I have said and the application of it, we'll come to later. For now, I will ask you to assume a few things and then we will start the question. So let me first write down the question and then we'll discuss what does it mean and how do we go about an assignment problem. So it says ABC and 1, 2, 3, 6, 5, 2, 5, 4, 6 and 4, 7, 5. Perfect. This is the problem that is written. Now, what is an assignment problem? Assignment, as literally as it goes, to assign. So, like we have in English, we have adjective forms, noun forms, verb forms. So, the assignment, to be assigned, to assign. So assignment is nothing else but you are asking someone to do something. You are assigning a certain job to a certain person. And this is what is given to you. So what is given to you is, imagine that there are 3 workers. These 3 workers can work on 3 machines. What I have to do is, I have to assign a worker to a machine in such a way that the job that has to be done. So I have 3 workers, I have 3 machines in my plant. I have to ask that worker to work on that machine such that the time taken to do the job or the money required to do the 3 jobs, it as its lowest. And this is where I told you, you will have to make a few assumptions. What are the assumptions? Number 1. How many machines do you have? 3. Well, if you have 3 machines, then you must have 3 workers. Because if you have 3 machines but only 2 workers, 1 machine will be left alone. At the same time, if you have 3 machines with 4 workers, 1 worker will be left without a job. Let's do one thing, no? If suppose I have 3 machines and 2 workers, why not ask 1 worker to look at 2 machines? Not allowed. Standard industry rules. 1 machine, 1 worker. You cannot ask 1 worker to look at 2 different machines. It might end up being hazardous, dangerous, and less productive. So, standard number 1. Number of machines or number of jobs and number of people doing those jobs has to be the same. That is the first standard that has to be there. If there are 2 workers, 2 machines. If there are 3 horses, there will be 3 jockeys to ride the horse. If there are 5 trucks, there have to be 5 truck drivers. So the number of jobs and the number of people doing those jobs have to be the same. Is standard number 1. Standard number 2. 1 person, 1 job. It's a 1-to-1 assignment. You will never ask 2 people to do 1 job. Not allowed. You will not ask 1 person to do 2 jobs. Not allowed. And that is exactly why the number of workers and the number of jobs should be the same. 3 workers, 3 jobs. 5 drivers, 5 cars to drive. 5 men, 5 assignments. So the number of jobs and the number of people doing the jobs has to always be the same. And because of that, 2 people cannot do 1 job and 1 person cannot do 2 different jobs. Not allowed. 1 person, it's a 1-to-1 assignment. Number 3. Now number 3 is, what is this in the table? Well, I'll tell you. I have 3 machines, I have 3 workers. Okay. So let's say 3 machines make 3 different articles. So machine A, machine B, machine C, or 1 article going through 3 machines. You can look at it as any way. So you can say I'm making a bat, cricket bat, and 3 machines are working to make that bat. Machine 1 is cutting the wood, machine 2 is shaping it into a bat, and machine 3 is polishing the bat. Or you can say I make 3 different types of toys. 3 machines, machine 1 makes Spider-Man of 1 type, machine 2 makes cars of a certain type, and machine 3 makes dolls of a certain type. So either way that you look at it, let's look at it as 3 jobs done on 3 different machines. I have 3 people to do them. You know what I will do? I will ask each and every person to sit on each and every machine and do the job once. And I will note down the time. So I realize that when 1 does A, he or she takes 6 minutes, hours, days, week, whatever it is. I'm saying 6 minutes. So when 1 does A, it takes 6 minutes. When 1 does B, it takes 5 minutes. When 1 does C, it takes 4 minutes. When 2 does A, it takes 5 minutes. When 2 does B, it takes 4 minutes. When 2 does C, it takes 7 minutes. When 3 does A, 3 finishes A in only 2 minutes. 3 finishes B in 6 minutes. And 3 finishes C in 5 minutes. So I have a matrix which is the time required to do each job. And this is where assumption number 3 will come. And I will put some more light on this assumption later. Right now, I just want you to assume this and then we dive into questions. This data given to you about the 3 people and the 3 machines must always be a cost-based data. What do you mean by cost-based data? Time. Time is cost. What does that mean? More time is good or less time is good? But obviously more time is bad, no? Less time is good. If somebody is taking more time to do something, it is going to cost me more money. So lesser the time, better. Which means time needs to be minimized. Which means time is considered as cost. Money is considered as cost. If I would have told you that this A1 to make A takes 6 rupees, well then again I would have asked, make him sit on that machine where he takes the minimum money. Less money is good. So time is cost based, money is cost based. Lesser the better. But when at the same place, if I would have told you that why don't we assume that this is not time, this is the profits they make. So when one works on A, I get a profit of 6 rupees. I have done the cost calculation, sales calculation, everything, and I realize that I get a profit of 6 rupees. When one works on B, I get a profit of 5 rupees. When one works on C, I get a profit of 6 rupees. Or sales returns is given to you. When you give me something which is good if it is high, profit, more is better. We maximize profit. Sales, we maximize sales. So every transportation question would be of this type or of this type. If it is a time-based question or it's a money-based question, we will minimize it. And if it is a profit-based question or a sales-based question, we will maximize it. Till we are doing practice questions, standard assumption, every question is a minimization objective question. So every data given to you is either time or money which you have to reduce. With these 3 assumptions, we will start off with questions. Let's go back. Same question I'm writing down. A, B, C. 3 machines. 3 people who can work on these 3 machines are 1, 2, 3. 6, 5, 2. If they work on A, 1 takes 6 minutes, 2 takes 5 minutes, 3 takes 2 minutes. When 1 works on B, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 on B, 4 minutes, 3 on B, 6 minutes, 1 on C, 4, 2 on C, 7 and 3 on C, 5 minutes. Assumption number 1. Number of jobs and number of workers is equal. Fantastic. Every person can do one and only one job. Okay. 2 people cannot do one job. Okay. Whatever data is given to you is assumed that it is a cost-based data. So this is either the time taken for them to do the jobs or the money that it costs me to do the jobs. And the last or the 4th assumption that we are going to make, and is that nobody has a problem working anywhere. Meaning, there is no worker who says, I cannot work on a certain machine. Well, is that possible? Yes, that is possible. I'll give you an example. I have 3 types of vehicles, or I have 3 trucks. So this is a 407. I hope you know what a 407 is, the Tata 407. It comes under, it's basically a truck, whatever. This is an Eicher truck and this is a MAN truck. Now this MAN truck comes under a category called, it's a heavy vehicle. So vehicles also have a type. What we drive, our cars are light vehicles. Up till the 407 truck that you have is a light vehicle. And then you have multi-axle and heavy vehicles. where you see, have you ever seen those trucks on the road where you keep counting the number of tires and it keeps going on? You mostly see these on highways where there are trucks carrying cars for transport. So these come under heavy. What about them? Well, about them is that not everybody can drive them. You need, so if you have a driver's license, if you look at your driver's license will have a MUV or a MVC or something like that. Along with it, they will tell you that it's a light license, which means that you have the permission to drive a light vehicle. You do not have, you need a special permission to drive a heavy vehicle. So I have 3 vehicles. Truck A is light, truck B is light, and truck C is heavy. I have 3 drivers who can drive. When one drives A, he takes an average of 6, or let's say when one drives A and does a route, he costs me an average of 6,000 rupees. When one drives B, it costs me an average of 5,000 rupees. When one drives C, it costs me an average of 4,000 rupees, and so on. Now the problem is 2 says I don't have a heavy vehicle license. Oh, which means that 2 cannot be given truck C. He can drive it. He's capable of driving it. Technically, he's not very good. He's doing it in 7,000 rupees. But I can't give it to him legally because does not have a license. Such situations, we assume, do not exist. Another example of this, you must have seen different machines in production plants. Sometimes there are machines that require to work both hands as well as legs. Or sometimes there are machines that you require only your hands to work with or only your legs to work with. Now I'll give you an example. Sewing machines that we have, silai machines. Those machines, if you look at the olden machines, if you had one at home or your aunt had one or there was one at your grandmother's place, which was your uncle's wife's, आपके मामी का या आपके चाची का machine होता था. Those were, back in the day, those were our aircrafts. We used to sit in them and go around the tire where the pedal used to go up and down. Used to feel very happy about themselves. उसके बाद मार भी बहुत पड़ती थी, but that is how life was back in the day. Now people are playing PUBG and making TikTok videos. I feel bad for everyone. Anyway, let's not stray away from topic. Coming back to, when you talk about that silai machine, do you realize you require hands as well as legs to work with? But what if I give you an electronic sewing machine? So in that, all you have to do is press a button and then there are speeds. So I don't need my legs to work. I can adjust the speed and then do whatever I'm doing. So I have 2 semi-automatic or non-automatic or manual machines, and one machine is an automatic machine. Or I have 2 automatics and 1 manual. Now unfortunately, worker C is a worker who has a problem with his or her legs. Probably has polio or has hurt his or her legs in an accident. So now worker 3 says that I'm sorry, but I can't work on this manual machine. I can only work on an automatic machine. Well, if that's the case, then I cannot assign 3 to the first job. Worker 3 cannot do the first job. And my fourth and my last assumption is such kind of a situation does not exist. If I have put you in the table, you are capable of doing every job. So once the question is written down, 4 assumptions. Assumption number 1 is that number of jobs and number of people have to be the same. Perfect. Number 2, one person cannot do 2 jobs and 2 people cannot do 1 job. And last, everybody is capable of doing each and every job. There will be no one person who says, I cannot be assigned this job. You cannot assign this job to me. So if the 4 assumptions are understood to you, I am again going to write down the question and begin. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. 6, 5, 2, 5, 4, 6, 4, 7, 5. Number of jobs and number of people is the same. Fantastic. One person, one job only. Two people cannot do one job. One person cannot do two jobs. Everybody is capable of doing every job. Yes. And this data given to me is a cost based data. So it's either money or time is my standard assumption. And we start assigning. If this is time or this is money, we just discussed some time ago that lesser the better. Yes. Time and money are minimization objectives. So the lesser time and money it requires, the better it is. Now, how do I find out? How do I assign what to whom so that the total jobs or all the three jobs together are done at the lowest time? Simple. If you've done math at the +2 and if you are not a direct entry student, so if you're either done math at the 11th and 12th or you are not a direct entry student, you are a foundation entry student, then you have done mathematics. Or even at FY BCom now, I think those batches are gone where FY BCom mathematics was not compulsory. Now even at FY BCom mathematics is compulsory. So we've done a chapter called Permutations and Combinations. Correct? What does permutation and combination say? If three people can do three jobs, the total number of ways in which I can assign a job to a person is 3 people, 3 jobs, 3p3, which is 3 factorial, which is 6 different ways of assigning the jobs. Correct? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find the 6 different ways of doing the job. How? Simple. 1, 2, 3. Number 1. Let 1 do A, 2 do B, and 3 do C. This is number 1. Or let 1 do A, let 2 do C, and 3 do B. Or, I need to make this a little thinner. Or let 1 do B, 2 do A, and 3 do C. Or let 1 do B, 2 do C, and 3 do A. Or let 1 do C, 2 do B, and 3 do A. Or let 1 do C, 2 do A, and 3 do B. So if you've done mathematics with me 11th and 12th, I told you that basic mathematics keeps coming with you over and over again. They won't literally ask you to do something. But if you know, if you remember the concept, understanding something becomes much easier. This is one way of doing it. This is the second. This is the third. This is the fourth. This is the fifth. And this is the sixth way of assigning the jobs. But which one is the best? Calculate the cost now and find out. How? If 1 does A, 1 on A takes 6 minutes. 2 does B, 2 on B takes 4 minutes. So 6 plus 4 is 10. And 3 on C takes 5 minutes. So 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. This is a total of 15. Let me write that down now. 1 on A takes 6. 2 on B takes 4. And 3 on C takes 5. So this assignment will finish the jobs in a total of 15 minutes. Fine. Let's go to the second option. Well, the second option is 1 is doing A. Okay, 1 doing A takes 6 minutes. 2 do C. So if 2 does C, 7 minutes. And 3 does B, 3 on B takes 6 minutes. So the total cost of doing this, or the total time of doing this is 6 1s are 6, 6 2s are 12, 6 3s are 18, plus 1 is 19. Or let 1 do B. If 1 does B, it takes 5 minutes. Let 2 do A. If 2 does A, takes another 5 minutes. Let 3 do C. If 3 does C, it takes another 5 minutes. 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15 minutes. Or let 1 do B, again 5. Let 2 do C, takes 7 minutes. And let 3 do A, takes 2 minutes. If I assign them this way, the total time taken to do the job, let me zoom this in a little if you think it's too small. The total time or cost taken to do this job is 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14 minutes. Next, or what you could have said is, you could have asked 1 to do C. 1 doing C takes 4 minutes. 2 to do B. 2 doing B takes 4 minutes. And 3 doing A. 3 doing A takes 2 minutes. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10 minutes. Or you could have asked 1 to do C. If 1 does C, it can be done in 4 minutes. 2 to do A. If 2 does A, takes 5 minutes. And lastly, 3 to do B. 3 doing B takes 6 minutes. The total cost of doing this is 4 plus 6 is 10 plus 5 is 15 minutes. Which assignment, or how do I assign it so that all the work is done at the most minimum, assuming this is time, at the most minimum time? Well, this assignment right here, which is assignment number 5, and that assignment is 1, 2, 3. Ask 1 to do C, ask 2 to do B, and ask 3 to do A. If 1 does C, it takes 4 minutes. 2 on B takes 4 minutes. 3 on A takes 2 minutes. This can be done in a total of 10 minutes. And that is the least that I can do it in. That is an assignment problem. So what is an assignment problem? An assignment problem is a problem where you have to assign a job to a person in such a way that the total time to do all the jobs, the total cost to do all the jobs are done at the most minimum time or the most minimum cost. This is exactly what we have to do in every assignment problem. But sir, can I say one thing? Tell me what? So you are telling me that with 3 jobs and 3 people, 3 jobs, 3 people is 3p3, which is a total of 6 different. It's easy. It's nothing like that. 1, 2 and 3. Correct? No job has been assigned yet. So 1 has how many choices to pick up a job? Well, I can give him any one of the 3 jobs. Okay. What about 2? Well, now 1 took one of the 3 jobs. So 2 has only 2 options. Okay. Now out of the 2 options, 2 took one of the options. So C has only 1 option. So the total number of options that all these 3 have is 6 different ways of doing the jobs. So sir, you are telling me that if there are 3 jobs and 3 people doing the jobs, there are 6 different combinations or permutations that are possible. Sir, just now when you showed me the table, then you are showing me a question where, if you notice, there are 4 people and 4 jobs. Yes. Later on into it, there are 6 people and 6 jobs. Wow. So when there are 3 people and 3 jobs, it's okay. Looks very small, minuscule. Only 6 arrangements, I can do this. But when you have 6 people with 6 jobs, do you know how many different arrangements are possible? Well, with 4 people and 4 jobs, it is 4 factorial, which is 24 arrangements. Still 24 arrangements also I can do. I will find all 24 different arrangements and give you the answer. You pick the smallest out of the 24. But the moment it becomes 5 people and 5 jobs, the answer becomes 5 factorial, which is 120 different arrangements. Do you understand what 120 different arrangements is? It's mind-boggling. Later, if you tell me there are 6 people and 6 jobs. 6 people can do 6 jobs in 6 factorial ways. Do you know what the total number of arrangements will be? 6 factorial is 720. There are 720 different ways of doing this. Can I sit practically and find all the 720 ways of doing these jobs and find the total time or the total cost and choose the most minimum out of the 720? Isn't that a little too much to do? Definitely is. And that is why assignment problem is not as easy as black and white. That 3 people, 3 jobs, 6 combinations. Write down the 6 different combinations you have. Write down the costs. Whichever is the minimum is the best. So we have to devise a mechanism to do this. Fine. Well, again, let me write down the question. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. And the question is 652, 5, 4, 6 and 4, 7, 5. Fantastic. So what are we going to do? Simple, very simple. Sir, you are telling me that A can do the 3 jobs, and out of the 3 jobs, the times for all the 3 jobs are given to you. But sir, can I say out of the 3 jobs, 1 can do 3 jobs ABC. Now out of the 3 jobs, 1 takes 6 minutes on A, takes 5 minutes on B and takes 4 minutes on C. Sir, can I say one thing? Time, the lower the better, no? So if the lower the better, then can't I directly and evidently see here that 1 takes the least time on C? Yes, fantastic. 2 takes 5 on A, 4 on B and 7 on C. What is 2 best at doing? Well, 2 takes the least time to do B and hence give to the job B. What about 3? Well, 3 takes 2 minutes to do A, 6 minutes to do B and 5 minutes to do C. 3 takes the least time to do A, and that's my answer. Ask 1 to do C, ask 2 to do B and ask 3 to do A. If 1 does C, 2 does B and 3 does A, 1 doing C will take 4 minutes, 2 doing B will take 4 minutes, 3 doing A will take 2 minutes. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 2 is 10 minutes. Wasn't that my answer? 1 does C, 2 does B, 3 does A, 4, 4, 2, which is the total of 10 minutes. And if it's that easy, why go through all this of making 6 different, finding all 6 different arrangements, finding all 6 different ways of doing the job, then calculating the total for everyone, and then picking up the least out of these values? Isn't this the best? Yes, it is. Fine then, if this is it, if it's that easy, let's move on to the next question. Let's come to question number 2. Question number 2 says that, again, 3 jobs, 1, 2, 3, and let's say 3 people who can do them PQR. I'm assuming. So, 1, 2, 3 and PQR. So 4, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9, 6, 8, 7. Okay then, let's begin. So let's start. Assuming everybody can do every job, 3 people, 3 jobs, yes. No 2 people can do 1 job, 1 person, 1 job only. 2 people cannot do 1 job, 1 person cannot do 2 jobs. Everybody is capable of doing each and every job, and this data or this matrix given to me is a cost-based matrix or a time-based matrix. With these assumptions, I can start doing the question. What is P best at doing? Well, P is best at doing 1 because it takes only 4 hours, minutes, days for P, or 4 rupees to do 1. Okay, give it to him. What is Q best at doing? Well, Q is also best at doing 1. What is R best at doing? Well, R is 7, 9 and 7, does 1 in 7 minutes, 2 in 9 minutes, and 3 is 7 minutes. So R can either do 1 or do 3. Wow. This is violating so many rules. Rule number 1 is, everybody is good at doing 1. But now the question is, who do I give 1 to? Well, you will say, oh, give it to P because it's the least out of them. Okay. I will give 1 to P. No arguments there. Then what should Q get? Because Q was very good at doing 1. Then give Q 2 or 3. But what? 2 or 3? Which one? That is a problem because both is the same. So you can't say that he or she is doing this better and not this good, or this is good and this is not. What about R? Well, R also you are not giving 1. So what will you give? Okay, fine. Him you give this, and here Q you give 8. My question is, are you sure about this? Well, I don't know. Not 100% sure. If you're not 100% sure, then let it be, no. I'll tell you. Write down the question again. 1, 2, 3 and P, Q, R. As usual, find out all possible, let me write it here. P, Q, R, 1, 2, 3. So 4, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9, 6, 8, 7. Write down all possible ways of assigning these jobs. So let me write P, Q, R constants and then now keep changing the assignment. So I'm writing this as 1, 2, 3 or do 1, 3, 2 or 2, 3, 1 or 2, 1, 3 or 3, 1, 2 or 3, 2, 1. And again the same, if P does 1, P can do 1 in 4 minutes, hours, whatever. Q does 2, 8. R does 3, 7. Okay then. Let's take a total later. Let's continue. P doing 1, 4. Q doing 3, 8. R doing 2, 9. P doing 2, 5. P here also doing 2. P doing 3 is 6, 6. Q doing 3 is 8. R doing 1 is 7. Then Q doing 1 is 6. R doing 3 is 7. Then you have Q doing 1 is 6. R doing 3 is 7. And lastly Q doing 2 is 8. And R doing 1 is 7. Let's quickly take a total and then check which assignment gives you the least cost or time. 4 plus 8 plus 7 is 19. 4 plus 8 plus 9 is 21. 5 plus 8 plus 7 is 20. 5 plus 6 plus 7 is 18. 6 plus 6 plus 7 is 19. 6 plus 8 plus 7 is 21. Who do you think, or which assignment do you think takes the least time? Well, the least time or the least cost is this assignment. So my answer will be, if you are getting done PQR, let P be given to 2, let Q be given to 1 and let R be given to 3. P going to 2 takes 5 hours, minutes, whatever, rupees. Q going to 1 takes 6 minutes and R going to 3 takes 7 minutes, which adds up to a total of 5 plus 6 is 11, 11 plus 7 is 18 minutes, which is the least out of the total bunch. Sir, when you found it easy, you did it this way, then you said, oh, this is complicated, let's try and do everything. My question to you is, can I sit and do all of this? if the number of jobs and the number of machines increase, and now that I've showed you what is to be done and what are the problems in doing this, has to be done. This is what we have to do. The problem in doing this is too big, too much to do. If I have 6 people doing 6 jobs, 720 such arrangements will be there. I can't find total for 720 different arrangements and then keep adding them. Don't have that kind of time. Or this will come for like 6 or 7 minutes. I can't find 720 arrangements for like 6 or 7 marks, which is equal to, let's say, 10 minutes at max. Fine. Then what about this? No, we got lucky for one question. One question, this came out very easy. Whatever 1 was good at, nobody else was good at that. Whatever 2 was good at, nobody else was good at that. Whatever 3 was best at, nobody else was best at that. Then it started creating a confusion where everybody was good at doing one job only. Which means what? Ask all 3 to do that one job. No, I have 3 machines. Everybody needs to sit on one machine and work. I can't, just because everybody is good at one machine, I can't tell everybody do this one job only. So now, if this is not possible all the time, this is in very rare cases that it is possible. And most of the time, this is what you are going to see. But because this was just 3 people and 3 jobs, I found all arrangements. What if it is not 3 people and 3 jobs? Well, then in that case, you can't do this, because this will become very big for, let's say, 5 people, 5 jobs, 6 people, 6 jobs. And this will also be confusing in that case. What do we do? And this is where now I enter into assignment problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scratch to question number 1 again. Let me write down question number 1. Well, question number 1 was ABC 1, 2, 3. So A, B, C 1, 2, 3. 6, 5, 2. 5, 4, 6. 4, 7, 5. Which is the best job for 1? And the best job for 1 is 4. How did you know? 4 is the least amongst them, no? Okay, so the least is the best. Okay. What if, let's just say, what if this is in minutes? Or let's say this is in hours. And I multiply by 60 and make it minutes. Again, this time given to you is in what? Is in hours. I am changing it to minutes. How will the values change? Well, everyone will get multiplied by 60. 6 6s are 36. 6 5s are 30. 6 4s are 24. 6 5s are 30. 6 4s are 24. 6 7s are 42. 6 2s are 12. 6 6s are 36. 6 5s are 30. Sorry, table was a little small, became a little bit of a mess. So for your better identification, let me draw proper columns. Cool? Yes. Now listen to what I am saying carefully again. Now if I ask you, which is the best for whom? So if I ask you, what is the best for 1? Okay, so 1 takes 360 on A, 300 minutes on B and 240 minutes on C. Sir, what is this? In minutes or in hours? Best is the best. So 1 is still doing job C in the best time. 2 is still doing job B in the best time. And 3 is still doing job A in the best time. So here your answer was, let 1 do C, let 2 do B and let 3 do A. Here also your answer is, let 1 do C, B do, or 2 do B and 3 do A. Am I right? Okay, humor me. Play along. I will say later, array, but this guy 1 takes a little setup time to do everything. So no matter what machine he or she works on, his setup time on every machine is, let's say, 5 minutes. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Which means all the times of 1 will be added with 5. So this will be 11 minutes, this will be 10 minutes, and this will be 9 minutes. 2 for setup takes 3 minutes. So this will be 8 minutes, this will be 7 minutes, and this will be 10 minutes. 3 for setup takes 4 minutes. So this is 6, this is 10, and this is 9. Question: which is the best? Or what machine is one working on at best? Sir, 1 is still best at doing C, 2 is still best at doing B, and 3 is still best at doing A. Okay. Now can I say one thing? That the job that 1 is doing, or 2 is doing, or 3 is doing, first I wrote it in minutes. I scaled it up and first I wrote it in hours, I scaled it up and I wrote it in minutes. But you are telling me that the best position or the best assignment still remains the same. Then I increased them by a certain value. But even then, the best is still the same. Is the best changing positions? No. And this is the principle on which the entire Hungarian method. So we are going to solve assignment problems using the Hungarian method. The entire Hungarian method depends on this one and only one principle, or this one and only one assumption. And the assumption is that if a matrix is given to you with time or cost, whatever, the best position is 1 going to C, 2 going to B, and 3 going to A, does not change if we scale up or scale down every row by the same value. A best in this is still a best in this, is still a best in this. So if the best position always remains the best, we are going to develop a mechanism such that our brain immediately identifies which is the best. Again, whatever I'm saying right now, nobody is going to ask you. Nobody is going to ask you how an assignment problem works. It's just me who wants you to know how an assignment problem works. On what principle does it work? So I know this 4 is best. Here it's easier to understand the 4 is best. Just some time ago, when I threw this question at you, which is the best, where understanding went bonkers. And that is why, to make the best clear, and if you are saying that scaling up or scaling down does not change the best, I am going to perform an operation which I call step 1, also known as row reduction. What is row reduction? I'll tell you. Pick up the first row. What is the best in that row? 4, obviously. Subtract the 4 throughout. Or in other words, pick up a row, or the textbook way of putting it. Pick up a row. In every row, pick up the least and subtract everyone from that least. Okay then. Least is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay. What is the least here? Well, the least also here happens to be 4. Subtract throughout. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. What is the least here? Well, the least here is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. 6 minus 2 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. I understand, sir, but what are you trying to prove? Well, this is what I'm going to prove. Least is the best. Here if I ask you what is the best, you will say, sir, this is the best because it's 0. Okay. What is the best here? This is the best. What is the best here? This is the best. So the best position still remains the same. But isn't it easier to identify the best position when there is a 0 in it? Although the value in the best position changes, the value I can always go back and pick up from the main table. That is not a problem. Once I know which position is the best, I can always go back to the original table and pick up the actual value from there. Isn't it easier to identify the best when there is a 0 in that best place? Yes. That is exactly why we do row reduction. And this is my answer. So in every question now, what we are going to do is row reduction. When you row reduce A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. A1, sorry here, reduce throughout by 4. So 2, 1, 0, reduce throughout by 4, 1, 0, 3, reduce throughout by 2, 0, 4, 3. And now assign whatever is the best. Which is the best? Wherever there is a 0 is the best. So for 1, C is the best. For 2, B is the best. For 3, A is the best. So my answer, which remains as usual, which I didn't have to do all of this and find out for question number 1, which is I didn't have to do all of this, my answer still worked out to be the same. 1 should do C, 2 should do B, and 3 should do A. If 1 does C, it can be done in 4 minutes, B in 4, and 3 in A takes 2 minutes. Okay, sir, this I understand. Can you do me the same but for the next question? Yes. Here it's 1, 2, 3, P, Q, R. What were the values? Well, the values were, oh sorry, it was 1, 2, 3 horizontally and P, Q, R vertically. So 4, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9 and 6, 8, 7. Okay. To understand which is the best where, step 1, row reduction. 1, 2, 3, P, Q, R. The least is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. The least is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. The least here is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 7 minus 7 is 0. Sir, now the confusion is, the moment I see zeros, I understand which is the best for whom. Now, sir, the problem is, if you look at P, P can do 1 in the best way. Q can do 1 in the best way. And R can do 1 as well as 3. So now, if I give away 1 to P, because P is best at 1, R can take 3 and do the job. But what about Q? You Q 2? No. You can only assign wherever there is a 0. If there is no 0, you cannot assign. What we did is, we tried to find which is the best for every row. So what is you try to find out? If these are workers or this is men and these right here are machines, you know which man can work best on which machine. The problem is you don't know which machine would prefer which man. So which man is best on which machine that you know. But for which machine is the man best, that you don't know. You didn't look at it from the machine's perspective. You only looked at it from the man's perspective. Which brings us to the second step, and that is step 2, which is column reduction. It was not required here. Why was it not required? I'll tell you. See, when you did row reduction, no? This row had one best, this row had one best, this row had one best. A had one best, B had one best, C had one best. But when you look at it there, P has one best, fantastic. Q has one best, fantastic. R has two best, okay. One best is there, no is all I care about. Whether there are 2 or 3 best, that I don't care. One has to be there. But when I look at it from the column's perspective now, 1 has 3 best, which is okay, nice. 2 does not have any best. Well, there is a best, which is P. Or then show it to me with a 0, no. Don't just tell me that P is the best. And for that, we are going to do column reduction. 1, 2, 3, P, Q, R. Column wise, first column has a 0 or the least is 0. If the least is 0, I keep subtracting 0, 0, 0. In this column, there is a 1, which is the least. Subtract throughout by the 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. And in this column, the least is 0. If I subtract by 0, it doesn't change. Or in other words, because there is already a 0, I don't need to reduce it. So, practicality. You need to find out which is the best assignment for every row. And you need to find out which is the best assignment for every column. There can be more than one assignment. At least one has to be there. Textbook way of putting this, or the scripted way of putting this, is step 1, row reduction. We do row reduction such that every row has at least one 0. Fantastic. Step 2, check if every column also has a 0. If every column also has a 0, fantastic. If every column does not have a 0, move on to step 2, and that is column reduction. Once you have done row and column reduction, every row and every column will have at least one 0. It can have more than one 0. At least one should be there. Check. P, 2 zeros. Q, 1 0. R, 2 zeros. Fantastic. Every row has a minimum of one best, which is 1 0. 1, 3 zeros. Fine. 1 is there, no, all I care about. Whether there are 2 or 3 zeros, I don't care. 1 prefers all the 3. Any of the 3 can come and work on 1. 2 has P the best, 1, and 3 has R the best. There is 1 best. So this is, I could have, this is exactly 58 minutes and 30 seconds that we are into the lecture. You know what I could have done? 57 minutes ago, 1 minute into the chapter, I could have told you we are doing assignment problem. This is an assignment problem. Assume that this is time or cost, and then do step 1 row reduction, step 2 column reduction, and continue. I don't want to do that. I want you to understand why we are doing whatever we are doing. Not that anybody is going to ask you. There are a lot of things nobody is going to ask you. Doesn't mean that we don't try to gain that knowledge. It's very important to have the knowledge of something working which nobody asks you, for your own joy, so that you know how that mechanism works. Tomorrow, a lot of students do this. A lot of students say, sir, ये तो software भी कर लेता है. Agreed, ये software कर लेता है. Software कैसे काम करता है? यही सब software ही करता है. All this row column reduction will be done by a software, and a final assignment will be given to you. But for the person to make the software, the person making the software needs to know, no? What am I going to code in the software? Software तो आसमान से नहीं गिरता कि ये लो assignment problem solve करने के लिए software. It's eventually a man working on the software. And for the man to know how the software works, he needs to know the mechanism. If he or she doesn't know the mechanism, how is he or she going to work on the software? You all do tally. Can't I do tally with a pen and a pencil? You definitely can. There's nothing wrong with it. Then why are you doing? Then why do we do it with a pen? Why are you all taught doing it with a pen and a pencil? अगर बाद में software पे ही करना है, अरे वो software क्या काम कर रहा है वो तो सामने वाले को पता होना चाहिए ना. If you don't know what the software is doing, what good are you? So, whenever an assignment problem is given to me, to assign one job to one person so that the total job is done in the least possible time, we do step 1 row reduction so that every row has one best, step 2 column reduction so that every column has one best. Sometimes column reduction is not required, so we do row reduction, we stop, check if column reduction is required and then only do it, otherwise we don't. So 4, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9 and 6, 8, 7. Step 1 row reduction. 1, 2, 3 P, Q, R. 4, 6, sorry. The least here is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. The least here is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. The least here is 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. 9 minus 7 is 2. And 7 minus 7 is 0. After you've done row reduction, check if every column also has 1, 0. If it doesn't, you have to do column reduction. This column has 0, yes. This column doesn't. So I will have to do it. Step 2, column reduction. What do you do in column reduction? If a column, and remember, column reduction will work after row reduction. Huh? You don't do column reduction here. Now whatever you are doing is going to be done here. This column already has a 0, then write it down as and how it is. This column doesn't have a 0. Okay, what is the least? 1. Subtract 1 throughout. 0, 1, 1. This column already has a 0, so 2, 2, 0. Step 1 row reduction, step 2 column reduction, and now we come to step 3, and that is assignment. Now, a lot of students later will say कि sir इतना table draw करने की ज़रूरत है क्या? Like for example, a lot of students later will ask, sir इसी में what if we do assignment? चलेगा, no problem, पर exam में इधर नहीं. See, right now what you are trying to do is, right now you are trying to create notes. This is something, this is basically your Bible, your Quran, your Bhagavad Gita, where you will be coming back to, so that whenever you have a problem, you don't understand anything, you come back to seeing here what is done. अगर सब एक ही में कर दोगे ना तो समझेगा नहीं क्या स्टेप में क्या किया. So I would prefer you draw a new table for everything. So step 3 assignment. What will you do? Now that every row and every column has a 0, write down the matrix and start making your assignment. Now drawing or doing an assignment is going to be with a pencil, not a pen, because sometimes we end up going wrong. If you end up going wrong, you can erase and go back. So make sure you are doing it with a pencil. Okay? And I want 100% attention here, because after this I am never going to tell you why we are doing whatever we are doing. I am directly going to do it. Let's start with giving P a job. You ask P, what job do you do best? P says, I have 2 jobs that I do the best. I can either do 1 or do 2. Textbook way of putting this. Start examining 1 row at a time. So I'm examining the first row. If there is one and only one zero, make an assignment. So if this wasn't 0, let's say this was 4, then there was only 1 0, I would give it to P. I would say you do 1 because you are the best at doing 1. But what does the textbook say? If there is one and only 1 0, then make an assignment. What is the problem here? The problem is there are 2 assignments. So let me give you an example. Suppose there are 2 jobs that have to be done, and you are going to do one and your friend is going to do one. Now your friend hasn't come here and they have asked you to choose. Okay, let your friend come. Why don't you choose what you want to do till then? So you think to yourself, मेरे को तो दोनों चलेगा. Or let's say you go to buy clothes and there are 2 t-shirts and you have shortlisted 2 t-shirts, one for you and one for your friend. Now your friend is coming. So the guy says, आपको क्या चाहिए वो try कर लो पहले, तो उसमें size है क्या देखते हैं. And then you say to yourself, I like both. I don't know which one my friend will like. So what do? You wait for your friend to come. Once your friend comes, he or she will pick up one of the 2 t-shirts and then you pick up the second one because you like both, no? So it doesn't matter which one you choose. That friend might like only one of the 2. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? If there are 2 jobs to be done, you are going to do one, your friend is going to do one. You are fine with doing either because you like doing both and you are good at doing both. But you don't know which one your friend will like. So you wait for your friend to come and you let your friend choose one because you are fine with both. Suppose impromptu you go for a movie. Of late we don't do that anymore. But back in my day when we were in college or just when theaters weren't so crowded, we used to be just on a Wednesday afternoon, give somebody a call because you are free and say, picture देखने आने का है क्या? कौन सी? पता नहीं. Let's just go and find out. So we never even checked what movies were on because this wasn't the make my show days, book my show days where you find out what movies are there and you go. So you go, multiplexes were not there as much, but then there were theaters that had like a lot of screens in them, but they weren't multiplexes. Like Bandra had Gaiety Galaxy and all of that. So you used to go and then see what movies are available, pick one and then watch it. So imagine that you have impromptu planned for a movie. You reach first and then there are 2 movies. So you're thinking, ticket nikal ke rakhu kya? But then you are wondering, I am okay with watching both. One is an action and the other is a comedy. I don't know what my friend is in the mood for. So what do? You wait for your friend to come, ask him or her to choose because you are okay with both. If you've understood whatever I'm saying, let's come back. P is good at doing 2 jobs. But will P pick? P will not pick. He will say, let me hold on. There could be somebody else who doesn't like one of the 2. Let that person choose what they like and then I will choose the other. Textbook way of putting it is, examine each and every row. If there is exactly 1 and only 1 0, give it an assignment. If there is more than 1 0, leave it alone and go to the next row. How many zeros? 2. 2 best choices? Don't take them. Go to the next row. Q. How many best choices? Well, just 1. Now listen to what I'm saying properly. Q has 1 job that it does the best. Only 1 job. If there is 1 and only 1 0, mark it as an assignment. If there is 1 and only 1 job that Q does the best, then mark it as an assignment. Now listen to what I am saying carefully. Q has been assigned the job 1. Can anybody else now choose the job 1? No. So in that column, if there is anybody else good at doing 1, cancel that choice from them. I'll repeat this practically and I will put it in a textbook manner. There are 2 things that P is good at doing. So I say chuck it, let somebody else choose one of the two, and then P will choose whatever's left. So I go to Q. How many best things? Just one. Then pick that one and give it to Q. So Q is now going to do job number one. A very important rule that I'm forgetting here is one person can do only one job. So if Q can do one, nobody else can do one. So I cancel out the option 1 from everybody else. I'll repeat this now, but textbook. Start examining row wise. If there is one and only one zero, mark it as an assignment. If not, move on. There are two zeros, then move on to the next. Is there one and only one zero? Yes. Question. How did you examine? Well, I'm examining rows. If you are examining rows, in this column, if there is another zero, cancel it out. I'll repeat this. We are doing row examination, or we are examining rows. Two zeros can't do anything. 1 0 row wise, mark it as an assignment. In that column now, if there is another zero, cancel it out. Continue to the next row, R. How many best choices did R have? Well, R have 2, but out of them 1 is already taken by Q. So that is not available, which means there is only one best. Yes, then give it to R. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it out. Well, there is no more 0. Fantastic. Sir, I finished all 3 rows. But there is still one more 0 pending. Then start column wise, no? You did row reduction column wise, you did row reduction, and then you did column reduction. So you did reduction row wise and then reduction column wise. You do assignment row wise and then assignment column wise. How? Same rule. If there is one and only one 0, mark it as an assignment. But now you are going column wise, so cancel zeros in that row. So column wise, 3 zeros, they are already marked or cancelled. So I don't have to worry. 1 0, correct? Mark it as an assignment. Now I am going column wise and I have marked this 0. In that row now, if there is a 0, cancel it out. There is no 0. I'm going to repeat this quickly. 1, 2, 3, P, Q, R. If you've done mathematics 11, 12, you've done this. This is done. We start examining row wise. If there is one and only one 0, we mark it. Otherwise, we move on. I move on to the next row. How many zeros? Exactly 1. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Then in the column, cancel out every other 0. Go to the last row, R. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Then assign it. Column wise, cancel all other zeros. No zeros. I'm done row wise. Let's start column wise. In the first column, all zeros are marked or cancelled. In the second column, there is 1 0. It is not marked or not cancelled. So I will mark it. And in the row, if there is any other 0, I will cancel it, which I've done. That's it. All zeros are either marked as an assignment or cancelled. Then this is your answer. What is your answer? Well, your answer is, let P do 2. So P will do 2. Let Q do 1. So Q is going to do 1. Let R do 3. Let R do 3. 3. So if P does 2, P can do 2 in 0. Q can do 1 in 0. R can do 3 in 0. So the total is 0. Arey, 1 minute. That total will be 0 only because you are assigning zeros. That position is important. You know the position now, no? Then pick up the values from the original table. And that is, if P is doing 2, it can be done in 5 minutes, days, rupees. Q does 1 in 6. And R does 3 in 7 in a total of, if you shift 1, you have 61, 60 has 18 rupees or minutes. Can I show you something? Didn't I do something like this some time ago? And didn't I find out that the best allocation is when P does 2, Q does 1 and R does 3 in a total of 18 minutes? P does 2, Q does 1 and R does 3. But now I could do this without any confusion. Now I could do this without actually doing it. The method with which we are solving assignment problems is called the Hungarian method. This method of finding every possible arrangement and then giving it a cost and then finding out which is the least is called complete enumeration. Enumerating or finding out all ways of doing it and then picking up the best. Well, because this was just 3 jobs and 3 people, it was easy. When the number of jobs and the number of people increase, this is not going to be as easy, and hence our method of solving the assignment problem is much more better and much easier. The answer in either works out to be the same. So I wanted to prove it to you that this answer, which is the best, directly is achieved by the method of assignment problem. So what are you going to do? Whenever an assignment problem question is given to you, initially we are going to make a few assumptions. Like I told you, assumption number 1, 1-to-1 assignment. One person can do one job. That's it. Next, assume that all these values are cost based. So it's either time or money or something, which lower is better. Assumption number 3 is everybody is capable of doing everything. Nobody has a problem. Okay, oh, I can't do this. This is something that I have never done, or this is something that I can't do. No, everybody can do each and every job is a standard assumption. And is there anything that I'm missing out on? I think 4 assumptions. Number of jobs and number of people has to be the same. With this, 2 questions are done. Can we dive into the next set of questions? Let's go ahead to the next question. Question number 3. Again, this is the question. I'm going to write it down. And standard assumptions. Everybody can do every job. So ABC. One on A 16, 25, 10, 15, 1, 10, 25, 7 and 6, 0, 2, 14, 11, 10, 14, 10. This is the data I have on me. You want me to assign? So I'm going to make the few standard assumptions that are there 4 people and 4 jobs that I have to assign? Yes. Is the one person only can do one job, 2 people cannot do one job, and 1 person cannot do 2 jobs. After that, the next is the data given to me. I am going to assume is some cost or some time. Now students ask, sir, ye 0 kahan se aaya? Where did it? Imagine this is like a salesman. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little windy. So I have 4 sales locations and 4 salesmen, and this is the cost it takes for every salesman to make a sales at a certain location. Do you notice salesman 2, the cost at C is 0 because he lives in C. He lives in location C. So he doesn't have to spend anything on travel. That is what it means. The cost to go from 3 to C is 0. So it could be cost of traveling. Anyway, this is the question you want me to assign. All the, I'm going to say it, all the bullshit that I told you some time ago. If you don't want to remember it, fantastic. Step 1, row reduction. So A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Row wise, which is the best? 1 is the best, which is, it's the least, so that's the best. Reduce throughout by 1. 15, 0, 5, 10. Row wise, what is the best? 0 is the best. So subtract throughout by 0, yes. But subtract throughout by 0 remains the same, no? Understand, a lot of people make a mistake. They disregard the 0 and then say best is 10, reduce throughout by 10. Are no. What is the least value? That's the best. The least is 0, then that's the best. You don't need to subtract throughout by 0. Even if you do, the values remain the same. 25, 10, 0, 10. What is the least here? The least here is 2. Then reduce throughout by 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. 25 minus 2 is 23. 2 minus 2 is 0. And 14 minus 2 is 12. Let's start with the last one. What is the least? 7. Just hold on for a second. The least is 7. 15 minus 7 is going to be 8 if I'm right. To be sure, 15 minus 7 is 8. So 8. 7 minus 7 is 0. 14 minus 7 is 7. And 10 minus 7 is 3. Step 1, row reduction done. Check if every row has a 0. Yes, obviously, if I have done row reduction, every row will have a 0. Check if every column has a 0, because if not, column reduction will be required. Does every column have a 0? No, the first column itself doesn't have a 0. So even if one column doesn't have a 0, I have to do column reduction. So I move on to step 2, column reduction. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Column wise, the best is 8. Then subtract throughout by 8. 15 minus 8 is 7. 25 minus 8 is 17. 8 minus 8 is 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. This column already has 2 zeros. Well, that's okay. I wanted 1. That's there, no, is all I care about. Then write it as in how it is. 0, 10, 23, 0. C has 2 zeros, so no reduction required. Or in other words, if I reduce by 0, which is the least, the values remain the same. And the last column, least, is 3. 10 minus 3 is 7. 10 minus 3 is 7. 12 minus 3 is 9. 3 minus 3 is 0. Step 1, row reduction. Step 2, column reduction is done. If row and column reduction is done, I can start assigning whatever is best to whoever. So technically you can do assignment in this, but I don't want to. I'm going to draw a new column. Step 3, assignment. So I'm going to draw the entire table again. Seven, 17, 0, 0, 0, 10, 23, 0, 5, 0, 0, 7, and 7, 7, 9, 0. Let's start the assignment. Row wise. There is 1 0, which means 1 best. Fantastic, then give it to that or make an assignment around it. The box says it has been assigned. But if you are assigning row wise, then in that column if there is any other 0, you need to remove it. Because now 4 cannot have B. Okay. Let's go to 2. For 2, the best is C, only one best. Okay, give it to everyone. But now in that column, if there is another best, remove it. Because now C can't go to anybody else. 3 had 2 zeros, but 1 is already gone, not available, which means only 1 available. Fantastic. Then give it an assignment. So give 3 to A. But now remember, A can't go to anyone. So in that column, if there is another 0, cancel it. Let's come to 4. Just 1 0. Mark it as an assignment. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it. Do you notice that in this question, after row and column reduction, only assigning rows gave me all the assignments. I didn't have to assign columns. That happens sometimes. It's okay. As far as all the zeros are exhausted, are used, is all we care about. So 1 will do B, 2 will do C, 3 will do A, and 4 will do D. Fine. I'm going to repeat this one more time for you. So 7, 17, 0, 0, 0, 10, 23, 0, 5, 0, 0, 7, 7, 7, 9, 0. Let's start row wise. Row wise 1, 0. Mark it as assignment. In that column, cancel out all zeros. Row wise 1, 0. Mark it as an assignment. In that column, cancel all zeros. Row wise 1 assignment. Mark it. In that column, cancel all zeros. Row wise 1 assignment. Mark it. In that column, cancel all zeros. Done. This is my answer, and my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let 1 go to B. Let 2 go to C. Let 3 go to A. And let 4 go to D. If 1 goes to B, 0, 0, 0, that I don't want. I have understood the position of it now. I want the actual value. So 1 goes to B, 1 goes to B can be done in 1, minutes, hours, seconds, whatever it is, or rupees. 2 goes to C can be done in 0, 3 goes to A can be done in 10, and 4 goes to D can be done in 10. So the total cost of doing this is 10, 10, which is 20, plus 1 is 21. No matter what other assignment you make, no matter which other assignment you come up with, you will not be able to do these 4 jobs in less than 21 hours, minutes, seconds, or rupees. Every other assignment will either be 21 or be more than 21. In this case, it will definitely be more than 21. No other assignment will be less than 21. That's it. That is your answer. Step 1, row reduction. Step 2, column reduction. Step 3, assignment. Let's move on to the next question. Let's move on to the next question. We did 1, 2, 3. Let's go to question number 4. PQRS, A, B, C, D. Assumptions. All assumptions remain the same. And that is 1 person, 1 job. So are the number of people and are the number of jobs the same? Yes. 31, 25, 19, 38, 25, 24, 21, 36, 33, 23, 23, 24, 29, 21, 24, 40. Let's start. This is my question. Same. I have to assign. One person, one assignment, not more, not less. Step 1, row reduction. Step 1, row reduction. I will write down P, Q, R, S, A, B, C, D. Row wise, what is the best or the least? 25. Subtract everyone by 25. When I subtract everyone by 25, I will get, hold on for 1 second. Yes, when I subtract everyone by 25, sorry, so least is 25. When I start subtracting everyone by 25, 31 minus 25 is going to be 6. 25 minus 25 is 0. 33 minus 25 is 8. And 29 minus 25 is 4. Next row, what is the least? Least is 21 if I am correct. We'll subtract throughout by 21. 25 minus 21 is 4. 24 minus 21 is 3. 23 minus 21 is 2 and 21 minus 21 is 0. See the third row. The least is 19. I will subtract throughout by 19. 19 minus 19 is 0. 21 minus 19 is 2. 23 minus 19 is 4 and 24 minus 19 is 5. Let's come to the last row. The least is 24. So I will subtract throughout by 24. 38 minus 24 is 14. 36 minus 24 is 12. 24 minus 24 is 0. And 40 minus 24 is 16. Is that correct? Step 1 row reduction is done. Step 2 column reduction. But check if it is required. If it is not required, don't do it. Let's check. Does this column have a 0? Yes. 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 Then you don't need it. You can directly move on to step 3, but we'll write down step 2, which is column reduction. No. I'm going to skip this step and I'm going to say since every column has at least one 0, column reduction is not required or is not necessary. So can I say I can directly move on to the third step, and that is step 3, but I will write it as step 2 technically, is assignment. So usually you could have done the assignment in this also, but then like I said, we are trying to keep it clean. So tomorrow when you are revising, you know what every step is, and then you can check if you are making a mistake somewhere. So it's clean. P, Q, R, S, A, B, C, D. So P, Q, R, S, A, B, C, D. Correct? So I have 46014, sorry, 64014, 64014. Next is 03212, 03212, 8240, and lastly 40516. Let's begin. Row wise. Exactly 10, then mark it. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it. There's nothing to cancel. Row wise 10, mark it. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel. There is no 0. Row wise 10, mark it. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel. No 0 to cancel. Row wise 10, mark it. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel, nothing to cancel. That's it. That's your answer. So let's make a note of the assignment. And the assignment is A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. A will go to Q, B will go to S, C will go to P, and D will go to R. Now I need the original values. If A is going to Q, A going to Q will require 25, let's say minutes. B doing S will require 21, okay. C doing P will require 19, and D doing R will require 24. So let's 25 plus 21 plus 19 plus 24 is a total of 89. That's the answer. And like I said, no matter what assignment you do, there is no other assignment that will finish this in any lesser time. Any other assignment will take more than this time. So that was question number 4 if I'm correct. Let's come to the next one, which is question number 5. Question number 5 is A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me write down the assignment. 5, sorry. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 15, 35, 17, 25, 30, 20, 25, 15, 5, 12, 24, 20, 15, 24, 20. Okay. Let's start assigning. Step 1, row reduction. Step 2, column reduction if required. So step 1, row reduction. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Row reduction. The least here is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. 25 minus 10 is 15. 15 minus 10 is 5. And 20 minus 10 is 10. Correct? Let's come to the second row. In the second row, the least is 5. Subtract throughout by 5. 10, 25, 0, 10. Third row, least is 12. Subtract throughout by 12. 35 minus 12 will be 23. 20 minus 12 will be 8. 12 minus 12 will be 0. And 24 minus 12 will be 12. Let's come to the last row. The least is 17. 17 minus 17 is 0. 25 minus 17 is 8. 24 minus 17 is 7. 7, 7, 14. Correct. And 20 minus 17 is 3. That is row reduction. Now we check whether, if and whether, every column has a 0 or not. If it does, fantastic. If it doesn't, we have to reduce column wise. Yes, no. Even if one column doesn't have a 0, you have to do column reduction. So we come back and say step 2, column reduction. And that is A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Column reduction. First column already has a 0, so no need to reduce. Or another way of looking at it, do column reduction. The least is 0. If I subtract 0 throughout, it's still going to remain the same. 0, 10, 23, 0. So 0, 10, 23, 0. Least here is 8. Subtracting throughout by 8. When I subtract throughout by 8, this is going to become 15 minus 8, which is 7. Then there is 25 minus 8, which is 17. 8 minus 8, 0. 8 minus 8, 0. Let's move on to the next. And that is column number 3 already has a 0. So 5007. 5007, James Bond. And let's come to the last column. And that is, the least is 3. So 10 minus 3 is 7. 7. 12 minus 3 is 9 if I am right, and 0. So 7790. 7790. Step 1 row reduction. Step 2 column reduction. Row and column reduction is done. Every row and every column will have at least one 0. Now step 3. Assignment. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 10, 23, 0. 7, 17, 0, 0. 5, 0, 0, 7. 7, 7, 9, 0. Let's start assigning. Assignment always with a pencil, please. Because if at all you end up making a mistake, you can quickly erase and do it again. Row wise, is there only one 0? Yes. Then only mark it. One best will be assigned. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it out. Let's move on to the next row. Exactly 1 0? Yes. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it out. Exactly 1 0? Yes. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it out. Exactly 1 0? Yes. In that column, if there is a 0, cancel it out. There is no 0. That's it. That's your answer. Just if people want to know, I'm going to quickly repeat this. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3 and 4. 0, 10, 23, 0. 7, 17, 0, 0. 5, 0, 0, 7. 7, 7, 9, 0. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Mark it as an assignment. Cancel everything else in that column. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Mark it as an assignment. Cancel everything in that column. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Mark it as an assignment. Cancel everything else in that column. Row wise, exactly 1 0. Mark it as an assignment. Cancel everything in that column. You're only with row inspection, all zeros are cancelled. Then I don't need column inspection. That's my answer. And my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D. So 1 goes to A, 2 goes to C, 3 goes to B, and 4 goes to D. If 1 goes to A, go back to the original question. 1 goes to A can be done in 10, whatever the minutes, hours is. We are assuming it's a minimization objective. 2 goes to C in 5. 3 goes to B in 20. And 4 goes to D in 20. 20, 20, 40 plus 10 is 50. 50 plus 5 is 55. Hours, minutes, days, whatever it is. That's it. That's your final answer. So, this is how an assignment problem is done. I am ending this session here and I will see you in the next session. Make sure you revise this a little and come into the next session. Thank you very much.